This is a listen and read story. You can read the story and you can listen to the story being told. In this story, Ruby is trapped in a haunted mansion. She has to solve all sorts of problems in order to escape. Could you solve the problems? It was getting darker now. Soon it would have been night time. Ruby looked all around to see if she could recognize anything familiar, but she couldn't. She was lost. A damp fog swirled around her ankles, and the eerie sound of an owl hooting echoed through the night. Ruby was cold and frightened and wanted to be at home. She knew she should not have wandered off the road. Her only hope was to find someone to help her. Suddenly, through the mist, Ruby saw the shape of a large house. Maybe there's someone there will help me, she thought, and headed towards it. As she got closer, she could see that it was a large mansion. It was very old and looked a bit creepy, but she had to try to get help. Ruby walked hesitatingly up some steps and looked for a bell at the door. There was a large door knocker shaped like a question mark, so she tried this. The sound of the knocker seemed to vibrate throughout the night, and the door slowly creaked open. When the door was fully opened, Ruby saw that there was no one there. "Hello," she cried. "Is anybody home? I'm lost. Please help me." There was no answer, so she stepped tentatively into the house. Ruby walked into a dusty hallway, and suddenly the door closed behind her with a loud bang, which echoed throughout the house. Her heart was pounding with fear as she looked around the dark and dusty house. She had to get out of here. At the end of the hallway there was a door. Perhaps she could get out that way. Ruby went to the door and saw it had no key, but there was a combination lock and a message. It read, "Find the missing numbers to open the door." Below the message there was a table of numbers. There was also a message which read, "Add the blue numbers to find the red numbers. The missing numbers are the numbers for the combination." Ruby took out a pencil and notebook from her bag and worked out the addition problem. The numbers were 2, 3, 7, 7. She tried the missing numbers on the combination lock, and the door swung open. Quickly she went through the door and into another passageway. A cold wind blew through the passageway, and Ruby thought she heard the sound of footsteps behind her. She went cold, and she had goosebumps all over her body. She ran quickly down the passageway, but suddenly came to a junction. There was a diagram on the wall and a message which read, "Take the passage which has an obtuse angle." Ruby looked at the diagram. There were two angles, A and B, but which was obtuse? She thought back to her school work and decided that A was the obtuse angle and went in that direction. The passageway seemed to go on forever, and it was so dark she could hardly see. Then Ruby came to a blank wall. She looked around for a way out and saw another message. It read, "Press the stone, which is the nearest 1,000. Then she saw the number 5451. She looked closely at the wall and saw two stones. Which was 5,000 and the other was 6,000. Which one should she press? Ruby worked this out and pressed 5,000. The door swung open in front of her and she was in another passageway. As she went forward, cobwebs brushed against her face, making her shudder. "Will I ever get out of here?" she thought. She eventually came to a flight of steps going down. There was another message which read, "Beware, do not step on the missing number." But what was the missing number? Ruby quickly recognised that these were all square numbers, that the missing number was 16. She went carefully down the steps. When she came to step 16, she saw that the board was missing. If she had stepped on this, she would have fallen. Ruby stepped over this and went down to the bottom of the stairs. At the bottom of the stairs there was a box with two numbers on the lid, 67 and 72, and a message, "Press the number which is equal to 576 divided by 8. Ruby worked out that this was 72 and pressed that number. The lid slid open and there was a key inside. Was this the key to get outside the mansion? She looked left and right. Which way should she go? Then she heard a blood-curdling cry from somewhere to her left. This made her mind up and she hurried along the right passage. Suddenly a barred gate swung to close in front of her, and she could go no further. She knew there must be a clue somewhere and looked around desperately for it. There it was. There were shapes on the wall, each with a different number of sides, and a message. To open the gate, press the pentagon shape. She remembered that a pentagon has 5 sides, so she pressed the shape with 5 sides and the gate swung open. I'm free, she thought, but she wasn't. In front of her were 2 doors marked A and B, with square stones in front of them. The stones were all numbered and the message read, "Enter here if you dare, but step on the stones which are not square. Choose the wrong door and you will be trapped here forever." But all the stones were square-shaped. What should she do? Ruby was getting desperate now. Would she ever get out of here? She looked at the stones again and realised that 4, 9 and 16 are square numbers. She thought about this and then the answer suddenly came to her. She stepped on the stones that were not square, 5, 7 and 26, and went through door B. The door closed behind her and Ruby was outside. It was still dark, but the fog had gone and the bright moon lit up the surroundings. Ruby heard voices shouting, "Ruby, where are you?" It was her dad. They were all looking for her. Ruby ran towards the voices shouting, "I'm here, Dad, over here!" She was soon with them and they took her back to her safe, warm house. It had been a frightening experience and Ruby vowed never to go off on her own again, and definitely never to enter a ghostly mansion. The end.